Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RRBG podcast. I'm here with the Golden Pony, Tony Hinchcliffe.
Yo, what's up? Good to be here.
How you doing with the quarantine, man?
Beautiful. Life is easy. Actually, it sucks. Normal life sucks, and yeah, looking forward to having an audience in front of me again.
Yeah, it's pretty rough, right? I mean, you guys have been going on with the Kill Tony show in quarantine, but I mean, obviously, big part of the show is having the crowd, kind of
No
like
doubt
wrestling.
about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Yeah, we've been having some fun little variety type of shows and whatnot. Just being silly, trying to survive, trying to give people some form of entertainment. But yeah, the main part of the show is pretty screwed because we really feed off of the energy of the live audience. So it's pretty messed up.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I just started recording the video, but the audio will be there.
All good.
Yeah, it's got to be rough, man. I mean, I know. Have you been watching any of the wrestling shows without a crowd?
Yeah, it's really depressing. Really, it's incredible watching them make adjustments. And we've definitely been sort of going through the same exact thing. It's interesting watching the evolution of a real live show that depends on its audience and like I said, the evolution week to week. Really interesting. I've always said that this is not my ego, just my vision is like I try to keep Kill Tony as pro wrestling as possible. I don't consider myself the Stone Cold Steve Austin of Kill Tony. I consider myself the Vince McMahon. And I'm always trying to keep it refillable and keep the show to its format, yet always evolving and growing. And so like week one, they had a bunch of empty chairs and in a big empty room, and they showed the empty chairs and the camera was on the empty chairs. And then I watched some last night, and it appeared as though they've gotten rid of the empty chairs and they filled it in with graphics and things. And the funny thing is, if you watch Kill Tony, when this first happened with no audiences, I decided to do it at an empty comedy club, which felt empty and big and hollow. And then week two, we did it in a studio. More visual graphics, a lot easier on the eyes. You can see everybody. Everybody's in blocks. We're using a lot more green screen and interesting tricks and just keeping it sort of growing and silly, but not as like sad. And the WWE went through, I think, the exact same growth type of situation where it's like we don't have an audience, but the show's going on. How do we keep it visually and creatively interesting for these people that are giving us a shot, that are at least trying to watch?
Right.
I think everybody's really just playing to their fans right now. Like Kill Tony, definitely, we're putting out these variety type of.
Oh, you cut out.
Tried to call me. You still there?
Yep.
Let me put on the do not disturb. Oh, it's already on.
Yeah, you were saying you're doing your variety show for your audience, and the problem is also that Kill Tony audience is a lot of it is the actual comedians that sign up for the show too. Well, not a lot of it, but like a portion of it is the comedians that go to the show to perform.
Certainly, and that's not what we're missing. That's just a fraction of the actual Monday audience, and on the road shows especially, it's a very small percentage of the comedians. But yeah, we're really missing out on the backbone of the show, which is, sort of meeting people and messing with people that we don't know, and nobody knows when they're going up and if they're going up. And it's just simply something it's probably one of the more dangerous shows to do in a coronavirus type of situation, other than like an arm wrestling competition or something like that, where you're directly touching someone.
And you guys did that too.
Yeah, we actually did. I had to smash some people in arm wrestling.
Nice. Yeah, I've been watching. I've been keeping up. I've been trying to keep up with so many people that are affected by this whole thing. Musicians specifically are devastated. Like, I don't know how many of my musician homies are going to survive this. Like the bigger ones, obviously, yeah, because they've been successful and they've been saving up money and all that. But the smaller, like mid-level club bands are screwed.
It's really hard right now. You know, and the same goes for stand-up comedians. It's crushing what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Musicians, at least musicians can still really write and create their music a lot right now. They can also put out their music right now. They can also make an album themselves right now. I thought about this because of all of this, and it's like stand-up comedians, a lot of us write on stage. Like it's like you might have an idea for something and you say it, but all the tags and all the best stuff just sort of comes out of nowhere. It just flows out of you. And yeah, we don't even have a chance to do that. We also can't put out anything that we didn't already record. You know, you can't make a special right now. You can't do anything like that. Like it's like I'm seeing a lot of these like fundraiser things and all this where musicians can can still put on a concert and do
On
something.
Skype or Twitch or something. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas if you see a stand-up comedian, our only option is to podcast, because like stand-up without an audience is hot death. There's been people trying to do it. You know, I've gotten a couple weird little offers as of late to do stand-up comedy with no audience, and I just say no. It's literally the worst, cringiest, most horrible thing ever. Whereas at least if I'm Elton John and I'm playing a song on the piano and singing, I can still kill it via the internet.
Yeah, it's got to be rough because you can't put on an album with a laugh track either, because that's just whack too. So you can't do that.
That's the whack.
Yeah, it's very whack. I don't know. I just I hear you. The podcasting is a good option for a lot of them, but there's not much. I mean, I've been trying to help some of the smaller musicians that are friends of mine that don't have the studio set up or whatever. I've been trying to reach out and offer some services for with my studio, or also helping them set up like a Twitch stream, because they could just sit on Twitch and play guitar and make some money from that. But I mean, I guess that's maybe a thing you could do with Twitch with comedians, is just because there's an interaction with the audience. They're typing questions, but then you have to have somebody there to like moderate it and look through the questions, so it's just not a whole bunch of garbage like "I love you, come to Texas." You got to have actual legitimate like questions that you could maybe riff off of. But it's just hard. It's hard. Do you think this is gonna get back to normal, or do you think we have a new normal coming forward? Like,
boy, man, if you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said, I'm not worried about this. If you asked me 2 months ago, I would have said, it's absolutely nothing. If you would have asked me 3 weeks ago, I would have said, we'll be back probably at the end of March. You still think?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here.
And then if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said at the end of April. And if you asked me last week, I would have said the end of May. And every single day, the news just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Well, people aren't listening, man. I'm looking outside my window and there's a ton of cars. There's people walking around with their kids. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you just don't get it. It's just going to get worse until, and every time you look at the news, new politicians are getting it. So I'm like, what happens if all the government gets it and they die? Like, what then? Like, who's taking over?
It's quite the conundrum, man. It is really, really fucking weird. And we just don't know what this damn thing is. And it appears as though it's much more airborne than we thought. I mean, there's the whole thing's completely fucked. They're telling us to wash our hands, but it's like,
I've been doing that. Like I wash my hands every day because I'm not an animal.
Right. Exactly. And I think perhaps I've already had it, and it's probably already run its course. I mean, the way that I was, as always, working through traveling, flying with Chinese people, certainly in December, and just traveling normally throughout January and February. I mean, absolutely constantly, including a trip to Vancouver, which is one of the most Chinese populated cities in North America, and LA and everywhere, and hanging out with people from New York. I mean, just the meet and greets.
Oh my
Jeez
God!
Christ.
Pictures, all the pictures, hugging, and hey.
God, yeah. And I'm a nice guy. You know what I mean? If a fan comes to Kill Tony on a Monday at the Comedy Store and they tell me that they listen to every episode and that I get them through their depression and this and that, I give them a fucking hug. I'm an idiot. I'm a complete moron. I shake everybody's hand. I high five everybody. I have a handshake with all my friends, and God only knows how many hands they shook that night before shaking mine. And the Comedy Store, you end up seeing 30 people that you know and love between every hand washing anyway. So there's almost no doubt that this thing, and again, we don't even know if you can get reinfected or what the time gap is or any of this. So really the lack of knowledge, it's insane. I keep going through these phases of, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours of creativity time, right? And then like 2 hours of chilling, and then I'll watch the news again for 20 to 30 minutes and just absolutely have to shut it off. Because
I've had to stop. Yeah, like you said, the anxiety. It's too much, dude.
Yeah, and then
I can't handle it.
And then I try to take my mind off of the news that I just saw by absorbing more art or watching another episode of Ozark or The Tiger King or who knows what else. We're all watching everything. And fuck, I mean, it's just this weird routine. And the only people that are really set and completely made for this are the multi millionaires that already have gyms and steam rooms and saunas and all this shit in their fucking house. It's like, that's what I keep thinking about is, God damn it, I should have worked fucking even harder. Because it's like, I should have gotten to a point to where that's where my life is. And I mean, I guess, that's what everybody's thinking and saying and doing right now, but it's really an eye-opening fucking situation. I want to be I want to be wildly successful on top of everything else, but just for the security, I mean, I'm set. I'm in a great situation. I have an unbelievable location in LA where I'm surrounded by amazing grocery stores and farmers markets, and everything that I could possibly want is walking distance from where I am. And it's a very safe compound like setup, super secure. But I mean, if I had to pick between this and being 45 minutes north with all that land and all that extra shit, it's a no-brainer. Like having a gym right now in your house is the only way to do it.
Yeah. I've been thankfully I have kettlebells and stuff. So from my old training days, so I just been doing that, push-ups and doing kettlebells in the living room. I've been working from home too, so like every 15 minutes I take a break, I get up and do some kettlebells or push-ups and just kind of stay active because, I haven't really left the place in 9-10 days. Like I went out for some groceries real fast, avoid everyone, just grab some shit and then run out and come back home. But it's just, I'm a little bit, I'm adjustable. I evolve, I survive. So like I can make this work, but I do miss going out. I miss going to the Comedy Store. I miss being social. And my biggest concern is that I don't know if we're going to go back to normal. I don't think it's going to happen. I think a lot of people are going to start being more assholes than they have been already. Like people are going to start avoiding each other and not really trying to, I don't know. It's just going to, I don't think we're going to get back to that social aspect.
I agree. I think handshakes are completely going to die with this. Yeah. I think fist bumps might even be done. I think the
Yeah,
elbow,
the Demolition Man.
I think the old elbow connector is going to be the new fucking fist bump. It's an insane time, and it's insane to think about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you
Yeah.
know.
What are you
And
doing to stay creative? Because I feel like we're bringing everybody down thinking about this, and I think we should. I know everybody's already panicking. So, what are you doing to stay creative?
first of all, I'll say that getting creative in a situation like this is extremely hard. It took a lot of decompressing and time for me to even be able to adjust. It's been a scramble trying to figure out how to evolve Kill Tony this whole time. Writing is extremely hard right now because it's quite the conundrum. Do you write coronavirus jokes to try stand up, or this is usually my approach, or do you want to be the only guy that doesn't talk about coronavirus on stage, which is the gamble that I'm leaning on, is wanting to take people away from coronavirus when they're out, once this thing gets cooking again. So it's just hard because it's, what do I talk about? And it's an interesting time for me because I feel like I don't have a lot of relatable things to people. I mean, my life is very, very just different. There's 5 or 10 guys out there that sort of have a life like mine, and they're all, they all have perspectives and takes and this and that on other things. They have other qualities about them, so being a straight white male at 35 without kids in a, I mean, it's just it's hard to.
You have a circle of friends around you that it definitely is a different life than going to work. The people that show up at a comedy store to relax and have fun are people that are going to work and they have family and kids and they're going there as an escape. Whereas you're kind of living, I wouldn't say living the dream, because I'm sure that you have bigger dreams than you're living.
No, you're right. I think I am living the dream, and that it just keeps getting better and better. I agree 100%. This thing's really changed. It's really affected me because I'm the kind of guy that goes to the Comedy Store almost every single night if I'm in town. It's where all my friends are. I'm extremely close with not only obviously the comedians, but the staff there and I are ridiculously close. It's my real family, is the wait staff and the managers and the piano guy and the sound guy in the main room, and all of these door guys, are like my brothers, and really everyone, So it's been really weird, man. I don't like it.
Yeah.
But
and I want to point out too to the people watching and listening that maybe have seen you around, because you have an online persona, like you're pro wrestling. So Tony Hinchcliffe on stage is kind of a heel, and you roast people. I mean, that's your specialty. So, but I want people to know, like, you're genuinely like one of the nicest people I've met, and like that relationship you're saying with the staff, I see it every time I'm there. When I'm back there, I just see you talking to everybody. Everybody's high five, hugs, shakes. How you doing tonight? And you work ridiculous amounts of time. Like, I see you there. You fly in from like a different country. You'll do your Kill Tony. You'll go out back, say what's up, and then go back, do another set at the O Room. Go run across the street to fucking the other comedy place and do gigs there. So I see it. I see the hustle, and just don't think that just because you said you're a single white dude in the business, like, it's not easy for you. You work for it. You weren't handed this shit,
Right. And that's why, it's been such a massive adjustment. And there's a lot of fear and anxiety could come from that. There's times where I'm like, shit, that was my ace, was my, work ethic and things like this. And now we're all going to be coming back with equal footing. And it's like, I wonder how it's going to be. I wonder if that audience is even going to be, are they going to be tight? Are they going to be insanely awesome? Like, there's just no way to know exactly what's going to happen here and what to expect and when to expect it. I mean, my God, I was so excited about so many of the gigs we have coming up. Kill Tony has never been bigger.
Yeah.
We had our 2 biggest shows in January and February, biggest audiences. Everything was at max momentum and max power. And also the stand-up gigs, never had a better schedule ahead of me than I do right now. Still in position to do 2 of the biggest gigs in my life in October, if everything.
Madison Square Garden, right?
Yep, and the Boston Garden with Joe Rogan. If those,
that's massive, dude.
Yeah, if those
it's fucking massive.
It is, but like, of course, I'm watching the updates in New York, and it's like, what the fuck is happening? Are you fucking kidding me? Every single day, it keeps getting worse and worse there. I'm like, this is insane. I was supposed to be with Chappelle and him at the end of April in New Orleans and Nashville, doing massive fucking venues, jetting around, having the time of my life. I mean, these are all getting rescheduled, This is all going to happen again, hopefully.
Hopefully. Yeah, the concern is really the crowd. Like, are people going to come out of their houses and actually go to clubs again to be around each other? Because I want to, and it's a matter of perspective too. Like, I think if you look at it positively and you put that out there, hey guys, we're free, let's go, people will move. And if you look at it negatively, like, oh, no one's going to come, then no one's going to show up. It's going to be rough, but I think it's a whole new thing. I don't think it's going to be the same. I don't think we're going to go back to normal.
Like the last Kill Tony at the Comedy Store before they closed down, the audience was tight. And I didn't over-acknowledge it throughout that episode because I find that to be annoying and it doesn't help and it probably makes the audience feel bad. But I did acknowledge it a couple times. And, they were tight. And they were tight because of the coronavirus coming in. Like, it was sort of a depressing time. Yeah. And those people that are looking for an escape, you can feel it, If they're out to have a good time, you can feel that. And if they're out just to sort of, like, tiptoe and see if they can come out, then that's a different thing, too. So.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about wrestling. Since you had a podcast, The Store Horseman, I've been on it. My favorite fucking wrestling podcast, because I got tired of all the old nerds that are just like, oh, well, this week, and I'm just like, I don't need the update of the shitty show that I already saw. Right. I want to have fun. And right. You guys used to do that. You had characters and all that, but it's been kind of obviously put on hold because the Comedy Store is shut down, so you can't really record it out of there. But even before that, like, I noticed, Chris was missing and a couple people were missing. So is that going to keep going when you guys come back?
Well, we've actually kept it going. There's going to be new episodes uploaded really soon. A couple of the guys are taking a little break. It's really hard because there's so many people on that show and everybody has so many different jobs and hobbies and this and that, and sometimes just timing it all out for the max amount of guys to be present is really hard. But I have as we talked about earlier, an insane work ethic. So I've actually been going to a studio, and so has Eddie Firth, and we've been knocking out episodes. We've evolved the format a little bit to make it a little more evergreen. Like you were saying, we're not just covering what horrible stuff's happened in wrestling this week. We're talking more about, past things and the philosophies and the creative side, specifically of wrestling, because we got all that out of our system. We got a lot. We've been tweaking the show a little bit here and there. so that the episodes can live for a longer time, so you can go back and actually re-listen to an episode of a show that you like, instead of just getting an update of what happened that week in wrestling from, months ago. Who cares about that, right?
Right, yeah. More like the Bruce Prichard thing, where they actually go over a topic or something, you know?
Right, exactly. And even just yesterday, live on the air, I predicted that it would be Braun Strowman filling in for Roman Reigns.
Did it happen? Did that happen? I haven't been up to date. I haven't looked at the Twitter or anything, but
No, someone in our wrestling group chat sent an article saying that it's going to be Braun Strowman that replaces Roman Reigns against Goldberg. So hopefully Strowman walks out of there with the Universal Championship?
If Goldberg beats Braun Strowman.
I mean, you just never know anymore. You never know what they're going to do.
That's true, man. Look, I heard Eddie's perspective, and he said that you agreed with him on the whole thing with Goldberg taking the belt from the Fiend, and I get it as a business move. I get what he did, but really.
Yeah, it was crazy. It's crazy to think, but like I said on that show, I think it plays into the Fiend storyline, and it makes it really interesting that the only people that can beat him are guys that never beat Bray Wyatt. Like, it's awesome if you really think about it. And I'm the biggest Bray Wyatt fan that I know, and if I look at it that way, I think a lot of other people should too, as long as they stick with that.
Yeah.
The second that they fuck that up, his actual, ability to beat people that have beaten Bray Wyatt, that's the move. And now that Goldberg's beaten the Fiend, I don't think he should ever be able to beat him again. I think the whole thing is really, really cool, and it hasn't been done before. It's almost like a reverse Goldberg.
Yeah.
Like, Goldberg got the push from the heavens, obviously when he started, and they kept it going forever. And, the fact that they buried Bray time and time again makes it super interesting. They have to have him beat Cena. There was even a moment when Roman Reigns pulled out where I was hoping that they would make it a triple threat match for the championship. Cena, Fiend, and Goldberg.
Yeah, that would have been cool. I would have been cool with that.
The Cena could set the record for most championships won. The Fiend could get his belt back, and it would also give Goldberg some breathing room since he's an older guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know they make these decisions that the marks are going to get angry about because they want to cause a ruckus because it makes it trend, Whether it's bad or good, people were talking about Goldberg for that entire time when he got the belt, So they know what they're doing. I'm not at all excited though about WrestleMania at this point. Just it's such a thing. It's a tradition for me since I was a kid to the massive crowd and the crazy pyro. None of that's gonna happen. How am I expected to be excited about any of that shit that's happening? They should just take it off, take the season off, come back in August with WrestleMania or something.
Yeah, maybe. I also think that this could be a special one too. I mean, it goes both ways. It could be fucking horrible. I hate the whole Gronkowski thing. I have no idea what they're thinking there. I just absolutely don't get it. If
Mojo was a bigger deal, like if he was a top guy, then I would get it because it's like, okay, he's bringing his buddy. But Mojo's been getting squashed on TV every day. Who gives a fuck about him or his buddy?
Right. It's completely crazy.
Yeah.
To think that Gronkowski's going to bring viewers or have wrestling fans care. Like, there might be, 2,000 crossover Patriot WWE fans that actually go to live events. Maybe 2,000, maybe.
Yeah,
but
I think that was a Fox move too. They were just like, yeah, let's get them on there. They love their sports,
So bizarre.
Like the Tyson Fury thing too. Yeah, it's all like the weird athletes that don't combine.
The interesting thing about this WrestleMania that I think might give it a little extra kick is their ability to pre-tape segments on this. It's like they could really do this right. So, for example, like I don't know what the Firefly Funhouse match means between Cena and Bray Wyatt. Hopefully, it's better than the.
Wait, did they call it that already? It's going to be a Firefly Funhouse match?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be the fucking House of Horrors. That's what it's going to be.
Well, maybe. I don't. That's what again, like it could go that bad or it could be great because with the ability to pre-tape, they can make sure that these things are awesome, and then sort of just line it up and roll footage. They're already filming. They've probably already filmed most, if not, not all, but most of WrestleMania. They can literally do it again, do it again, do it again. And then they're just going to roll footage on that. So they don't have the restrictions, obviously, and pressure of a live show. They can literally, it can be like a fucking movie. So it could be really, really, really cool.
I hope so.
It could also be the hottest pile of shit ever.
I hope so. I have a bunch of friends that they're trying to figure out ways for us to do a watch party where we'll do like a Google Hangout and everybody's there and we're all watching it. But, I just always felt that WrestleMania was like a party. I always had barbecues, we'll invite 10, 15 people over, get food going. Yeah. And now it's just kind of like, well, it's going to feel, and especially because they've been doing it out of the same place. If it was a different closed off arena, but going to do it at the Performance Center, it's just going to feel like an elaborate SmackDown or an elaborate Raw, I think, because they're already doing it. They've been doing it for a couple weeks now.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe they might, one thing I think they could do that would be really cool and smart is to just completely surround the ring with screens and almost give it a vibe of that there's an audience there, almost like a B-roll footage of an audience that they can make it look like they got excited or not excited or this and that, almost like a video game.
Kind of like the football player that was hanging out at the draft. Remember that shit with Raw and SmackDown draft? They had like the conference room with the Fox heads and there's like a fake CG robot in the background. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Yeah.
They could do that. They'll probably do something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I look forward to whatever craziness it's going to be because I have nothing better to do or watch. I'm watching TV shows every day now, so that's kind of a convenient thing of the quarantines. Like I get to catch up on all these shows people are talking about. I get to still watch wrestling. I think AEW did a good job. Did you see that one with the empty arena?
I saw some of it. Yeah, bits and pieces.
I like the wrestlers out in front, yelling and pretending to be the crowd. But I think they got yelled at because this week they only had they had drawings of them. They didn't have the actual people out there. Yeah,
you can't really do anything right now, or else you just seem like ignorant and disrespectful, and it's really, really fucking strange, man. It's really crazy times.
I mean, all I can say is try and be productive online. Everybody seems to be doing it, but if it works, man, it's been working even before all of this. People were making money off of Twitch and YouTube for years before all this happened. It's just now everybody's trying to do it. So, I mean, do you have any thoughts? Are you thinking about doing something else as well, aside from Kill Tony and Store Horseman?
Yep, I'm actually, it looks like Thursday I'm set to record my first episode of a new podcast that I'm doing about billionaires.
About billionaires? Like the show or actual billionaires?
Oh, no, it's actual billionaires.
Okay.
Each episode I cover a different billionaire and talk about their life and how they became a billionaire and who they had to screw over and maybe some crazy twists and turns that are wild, because now's an interesting time because, they're so much richer than they've ever been before. And their lives are just so much different than ours. We can't even fathom. So I figured I'd maybe shed some light on that, maybe put in a little comedic twist here and there on it, make it interesting.
You're running that solo. You're gonna have like a co-host or guests or anything? Just solo.
I think so. I think it's just going to be me.
Cool.
It's gonna be my version of sort of like a Firefly Funhouse type of dark, creepy
Are you
show.
filming it too, or is it audio filming?
Yeah, gonna film it too. Have a little studio set up and over at Better Box Studios.
Oh, nice. That's Gino's place, right?
Yep.
Nice.
And, yeah, we're all set and geared up and gearing to go. So we'll see how that goes. A lot of shady, crazy billionaires out there, man.
That's interesting. I mean, the shows that touch on those subjects do well too. So yeah, I mean, I know there's definitely an interest. There's going to be a lot of people that you might get a little bit of that conspiracy theory crowd trying to like see if you reveal anything watching. You know?
Oh, there's a lot of wild shit. There's this one guy that I just found out about, this hedge fund billionaire that actually had the internet scrubbed of his existence because he has
Nice.
that much money that he can literally just have people every day making sure that nothing gets posted about himself. And he married his own biological daughter.
Yikes.
Yeah, yeah, billionaire shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, man. Don't want to taint the bloodline. Is that the concept behind that?
Not even, definitely not having kids with her. Just
Wow.
pound that sweet, sweet daughter puss. You know what I mean? I'm sorry to those of you sensitive to subjects like this. I think
No,
everyone.
it's true. It's so weird, man. It's so weird that people do that kind of shit. And I hear a lot of conspiracy shit from friends. Like Sam talks a lot about it and everything. But do you think there's any kind of conspiracy with what's going on right now and the virus thing? I don't think so. But I hear
I
all this
think the one,
nonsense.
I think the one conspiracy going on is the same conspiracy that I've been talking about for years, which is um, the media has way too much power and way too much influence. Even with all the fake news and all of these things being touted and shouted, I think that people still really trust these major news companies that are all owned by extremely rich people that completely have control over what the news is saying. It's not like they don't. It's not like they can't call one number and go, don't talk about this that much, barely cover this, don't even mention this, don't say these words. It's all extremely controlled. And, the way that they can manipulate reality is incredible to me. That
Yeah.
it is allowed to happen, and there's never going to be a huge news company that isn't owned by a billionaire that doesn't want these things to happen, And it's like they crush Bernie Sanders. They make Donald Trump look like an idiot every chance they get. I mean, yeah, does he say dumb stuff sometimes? Absolutely, but he says it without a teleprompter, and he says it off the top of his head, and he's funny as shit. And he's also done an extremely great job as the president of the United States of America. Extremely fucking great job. Like, it's ridiculous. Our economy just hit where he took over like 3 days ago. People don't even realize that. This is like, oh my God, everything's dead, everything's done. 3 days ago from today, it hit where it was when he took over. It went like this when he took over.
Yeah.
The economy, which is, if you're wondering, just absolutely the only thing that matters. The economy is the only thing that matters. Not a racist statement here or there, not him saying that he grabbed pussies to one guy that had his microphone on 20 years ago. None of that matters. In fact,
Nothing has come of it. Like they've had all the appeals, whatever, all that bullshit. Nothing happened.
right. And of course he's going to have women suing him in this and that. He's one of the most famous fucking million billionaires on the fucking planet. Of course. Anybody with that much money has fucking claims against them. These people hope to settle out of court. Maybe he did something. I'm not saying that they're lying, but I'm also saying that shit happens to people with that much, especially when they're that much in the public eye and everything like that. And, people are going to hate me for saying this. There's someone listening to your podcast right now that's like, oh, fuck this guy.
He supports Trump.
He thinks President Trump's done a good job. But that person only knows what they know off of watching CNN or MSNBC or even Fox News. You got to remember, even those guys were against him big time. Everybody was against this guy. And what makes him different? And the reason why the news wants to make him look like a fool is because they want a real politician that will play by the rules of the lobbyists and the big business in there. Someone that they truly own. No one owns him.
Yeah.
And they would. Some people want to make it look that way, but
I don't know. Yeah, I still think he's
my real conspiracy in closing with this subject is that Donald Trump's one of the. I mean, and by the way, this isolates it. It's official now. Now that this coronavirus has happened, that means the boxing match is over. The referee just stepped in. Coronavirus just stepped in. And no one will ever be able to deny that on paper, Donald Trump was an unbelievable president. Like, unless the coronavirus goes away and this and that, and he gets reelected, and then he fucks up and goes to war with some unnecessary country, which he won't. He will not, or else he already would have. He already would have done that to guarantee his second term as president. There's nothing better to do than to go to war with a country. And he doesn't want to do that. He'll give money to the military budget, sure, but if you're not using it, it's sort of pointless.
Yeah. It's a distribution of funds. It's a slight money laundering if you're not really using it. Just put the money over there.
Yeah, make everybody happy. The veterans are happy. The troops love them. You know what I mean? That's a really big deal. Even though I've never served or anything like that, like I look at that as a big deal. And most importantly, it's keeping us out of wars. Barack Obama, great guy, sure, but he was lighting people up with drones like it was a fucking video game, man. People don't realize, like, he was the fucking drone master. And a lot of the stuff that's stirred up over there is because of him and because of George W. Bush and because of other things, the people before us.
Yeah. No, I mean, dude, I used to be very politically active and, like, I'd read all the news and I'd be aware of everything that's going on. But I've kind of I realized that I was playing a game that I have no chips in. I have no control of. Doesn't matter what I can go vote, but that's not going to change whatever they have, whatever plan they've got. Like, they're going to do it. It doesn't matter. Like, they're going to fulfill their plan. And I need to figure out how to stay alive and survive with their plan. Like, I'm not going to break in there with a revolution and a flag and a fucking gas mask. Like, yeah, we're going to stop this. Like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Right.
So I've just been focusing on being productive and staying alive. That's it. And, I have friends that are a little too far on the side of surviving. Like, I've got 10 AK, guns and a fucking shelter with MREs ready to go. What is that? Is that a taser?
No, it's not real. It's a toy gun.
Do you have guns? Are you a gun owner?
Not really.
Yeah.
Not really my thing.
Yeah, I've been wanting to get a shotgun just because of the noise. I wouldn't even buy ammo. It's just one of those things. Like, if a dude's creeping outside my window, and I live in Long Beach, so that happens often. But he's just a little. That's all you need. You don't even need to shoot anybody. Just a little scare. They'll run away. But yeah, I have dudes that have, like, entire lockers full of fucking ammunition and guns. I'm like, well, look, I'm not going to talk shit, because if we do go into a Mad Max situation, I know where I'm going. I'm showing up at his house. I got beer. What's up?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
100%. I'm waiting for anything happens. I'm driving my Corvette as fast as I can straight to Joe Rogan's compound and gonna
He's got
go.
flamethrowers, man. He's good to go.
I'll sleep outside in his doghouse, happy as can be.
Do you see the apocalypse happening? And do you think that is just a fantasy that people have in their heads from all the movies and video games and bullshit we see?
We're not that far away. We're not that far away. Let me put it this way. My wife and I were plowing through episodes of the new season of Ozark last night, right? And around episode, I don't know, 5 or 6, I'm like, you know what? I have to get Juul pods for my vape pen, some drinks, whatever, for myself, and I'm going to run to the grocery store real quick. You want anything? And I go out there, and it turns out the grocery store that normally closes at 11 every single night changed their policy yesterday, and they closed at 9. So now they're closing at 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Catch my drift?
Yeah.
So if these things continue, then what? Right? Do they close at 7? So then they're open from what? 8 to 7? And then what? Maybe 10 to 5? And then, because, I mean, once the grocery stores close or something like that, that's it, man. If they announce the grocery stores are contaminated and too dangerous for people to go into, then food's off the table. And once that happens, that's it. Like,
that's when the looting starts, the breaking into the, all that crazy shit happens. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You leave a fucking, an Amazon package comes to your door, it's gone. Gone. Mm-hmm. First person that sees it, And that's
people think it's unbelievable or impossible, but you look at, I saw a documentary that Vice did on some like random desert town that no one knows about, that law can't interfere with. They're just living out there. Yeah, it's ridiculous because they're all like kind of scavenger looking. They got glass bottles and shit, and but they're shooting each other. It's fucking chaos out in the middle of the desert. And they're like, that'll never happen in LA, but it will. You know that in Long Beach, if they shut down all the markets and it goes crazy and people start looting, they're just going to close it off and let it burn off. Like, oh, well, Long Beach is gone. Yeah, and, move up north, go towards Utah. I don't know. It's not, like you said, it's not that far off. It's crazy.
There's only so much to loot, too.
Yeah.
I mean, looting is only temporary. I don't know. We live in this is a massive city we live in, and, it could start in New York. If this thing fucking keeps going the way that it is, the news that I woke up to today is that New York may not hit its peak in flattening the curve, the peak, until June.
Ugh.
And, this flatten the curve thing is also very, very deceptive because, yes, of course you want the minimum amount of people to get this thing as possible, but what they're saying, what that curve is how many cases per day and per week. Like, it's like, sure, you want that to go down, but it's also continuous. They sort of make it seem like once you reach that peak, everything's going to be okay. And that's simply not at all the case. And by the way, I don't believe a goddamn thing about China, it being gone. I don't believe that. There's a conspiracy theory for you. They're just absolutely lying. I don't think Russia has 0 cases. I think everybody's lying. I think America has handled this as well as anyone could. We're the most worldly traveled country in the world. Of course, we're going to have more cases than anybody else.
Yeah.
The medical supplies are literally, nobody's died because they didn't have a ventilator. Again, the news makes it look like, oh my God, we're short on this. Yes, nurses are panicking because of the future. because of what could happen. And they're right. It could get fucking bad. But GM's pumping out ventilators now, and other companies are helping out, and they're figuring out that they can hook 2 to a ventilator, and that's completely fine. And yeah, fuck yeah, if it works, then hook 2 up to the same ventilator. Who gives a fucking shit? Absolutely, hook 2 up. If it works, then it works.
Yeah.
If you can hook 4 up to one, then fucking who gives a shit? Like, it's like,
unless it's working.
Air keep everybody alive. Fucking hook everybody up to one ventilator. Who gives a fucking shit? But yeah, so there's another conspiracy for you, is that China's not done with this. Anyone that believes that's insane. What are the odds? Oh yeah, China and Russia. You can totally trust them and their reporting. Good old Chernobyl over there. They'll tell you the truth. Oh yeah, everything is fine. The Russians are strong enough to not get this.
Look at me, I ride horses with no shirt on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's of course they're gonna put that news out there. They want to look good. They want to make us look bad. That's how you win the thing, right? Mm-hmm. We're better than you. That's the whole thing.
Yeah, 100%. It's crazy times.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it has been kind of doomy and gloomy. People are locked in, and with you're right. There's good reason for everybody to be kind of depressed, kind of locked in, but I think if we stay active, stay creative, stay doing things, putting stuff out like you're doing, I think we'll make it through this, and it'll be a different world. I think moving forward. I think like I was trying to point out with the Long Beach thing. Like you go to LA to Skid Row, and people just ignore the fact that there is blocks of tents with human shit and piss, and like it's just there. No one's cleaning that up. No one's touching it. No one's fucking with them. They're like, yeah, just let it happen. That'll happen. The government will just be like, just whatever. Can't really control it. It's out of our control. So I say stay positive. Don't think about that. And if we have to make adjustments, we make adjustments. That's what we do. We survive. We evolve. We make it work.
Damn right. America.
Yeah. America, fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
And not just America, man, just people, like everywhere. Especially now with everybody connecting to the internet, the world is going to get a little bit closer because everybody's just going to be watching shit from all over the world. They've been doing that already, but it's going to increase a little bit. So just everyone, just act right. It's not. It's just what the fuck, man. Just what are you doing?
100%.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm gonna let you go. You got stuff to do. I know you told me you were writing something, a movie or a show or something. Still working on that?
Absolutely. A bunch of different things. My brain is scattered in 20 different directions. But, I probably should just focus on one thing at a time. That would probably be the better approach. But
that'll never happen.
That's for sane people.
Yeah, that'll never happen. You gotta focus on all of them at once, and that means cutting them in half or shortening them into portions. And yeah, I get it, man. And I appreciate you taking time to talk to me. I know I've been wanting to do this for a while, and before you were one of the hardest working because you were traveling, and like I said, I felt bad. Like I was like, I don't want to even bother him. He's got no time. So that's why I reached out now. I'm like, I think now that we're locked down, you may have a little more time, but I know I still appreciate you taking the time. So
indeed, I turned down everybody else's podcast during this time, but you, my friend, and your positive aura that you bring with you around the Comedy Store when you're there, especially on Mondays, I owed you one.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you.
Indeed.
Hopefully we'll do another Storecade when this is all over, yeah?
You're absolutely right. 100%. The Corona mania.
Corona mania. All right, man. Stay positive. Everybody listening, follow Tony at Tony Hinchcliffe, all the things.
If you like stand-up comedy, check out Kill Tony. If you like pro wrestling, check out the Store Horseman. And if you like roasting, YouTube Tony Hinchcliffe roast Snoop Dogg. 10 minutes of laughter.
Yeah, dude, that's the clip I send everybody. They're like, "Who's Tony?" I'm like, "This guy. This guy's Tony."
All right, pal. Well, have a great day. Thanks for having me. Pleasure.
Yeah, for sure, brother. Cheers.
Bye-bye.